Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. So I got a new case for us to go over, and it is an unsolved missing young man. He was 19 when he went missing, and he is now 20. So I would like to go through this case, and I was requested to take a look at it. And as soon as I started checking out Kadin, that's his name, Kadin Black, I was instantly interested, and there is a lot to it. And I did a big deep dive in the last 24 or so hours. So this is going to just be like an introduction. I'm going to go through some slides I made up. There's a presser from about a year ago, and also his mom spoke out. And then again, we'll do some more videos soon once we get more information. And if you're familiar with this case or you're connected to this case, I would definitely love to talk to you. So again, my email is in the information of every single video, and I do have scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I tried to make it as big as I can, but it's also going to be in the description of the video. If you have any information on Kadin Black, the phone number for the Lower Windsor Township PD, because this young man is missing and they need any and all tips possible. All right, so again, this is Kadin Black. He has been missing since December 17th, 2022. So really, it's like a year and a half ago. From Wrightsville, Pennsylvania. He was 19 years old at the time of his disappearance, and he was living with his friend Ethan Faust and his family during that time. He had some issues with his father, whom he was living with prior to that, but would visit with him and the family dog. So he had some issues with his family, but they got along. So it wasn't, like any kind of real strain going on there. His parents, Maurice and Kara, they did divorce when Kadin was only 3 years old. So he's known, two separate households kind of most of his life. Again, he had a good relationship with both of his parents. His mom lived in Maryland with the other two kids, so he's one of three siblings. And Kadin was planning to visit that Christmas. So Christmas of 2022, he had plans to go see the rest of his family in Maryland. When Kadin didn't show up at his dad's house, Maurice, on Sunday, so he was scheduled to, he was set, he was talking to his father about coming over on Sunday. His father started to get concerned about him. After not hearing anything, Maurice called Chris Faust, who was his friend Ethan's father, to see if he knew where Kadin might be. However, Maurice was unable to reach Chris, and then it wasn't until Tuesday, December 20th, so we're talking about 3 days here, that Chris Faust ended up calling Kara, Kadin's mom, asking if she had seen her son. So he was living with the Faust family, and then it was kind of quiet from Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then all of a sudden on Tuesday, Chris Faust decides to call, Kadin's mom, because I guess he hadn't seen him either. Considering that he lived at their house, though, it was a little odd that he's calling his mom, who lives in another state completely. You're talking Pennsylvania to Maryland. And I don't know why he didn't talk to Maurice, who lived in Pennsylvania as well. It was then that Kara was told that Kadin had not been seen since Saturday. It later on came that it might have been Sunday, but basically he hadn't been seen since Saturday, Sunday, December 17th or 18th. It was at that point that Chris Faust made the call to the Windsor Township Police Department to report him as a missing person. According to Maurice, Chris Faust told me that he was up on Sunday morning, that he always gets up early, and he was up by 5 or 6. Kadin had left either Saturday night or the early wee hours of Sunday morning. However, both Kadin's parents found out later that Kadin's cell phone was still connected to the Faust Wi-Fi at 9:33 a.m. Sunday, which would have been December 18th. So there's a discrepancy right there. Again, it's like the 17th. Was it Saturday? Was it Sunday? And then you have Chris Faust saying, "Oh, I saw him on Sunday," and that he was gone. And now we're like, well, but he was still connected to the Wi-Fi at 9:30 ish in the morning. So it can't be both, you know. Chris Faust had stated publicly that his son Ethan and Kadin were known to play video games for hours, and he was used to not seeing Kadin around, and it wasn't out of the ordinary. So for him to not see Kadin maybe for a few hours or part of the weekend, I guess just wasn't, it wasn't odd to him. He did, however, state that Kadin's demeanor had changed in the weeks leading up to his disappearance. Chris told Dateline he would come home and just go straight to his room and not come out like he used to. So that's odd, where he usually was pretty social with the Faust family, hanging out with, Dad and his friend Ethan. He kind of started, getting secluded in his own bedroom. The Faust family state that Kadin used to spend a lot of time with their family. They would ride bikes together, hang out, and work on cars together. And there's plenty of photos that I've seen online of him going out to eat with them, riding bikes, going to the gym, and he worked on cars with Chris and his son Ethan. So definitely he was seemingly a part of that family in a lot of ways. Moving company job. About 2 weeks before Kadin disappeared, he started a job at a local moving company. This information has been confirmed by both Kara and Chris Faust. A few days after Kadin went missing, Kara went to the home of one of Kadin's co-workers of the moving company. This man told Kara that he did not know Kadin. See, that's really strange. If he worked with him, especially for the last couple weeks, there's no way you wouldn't remember the guy, right? Lower Windsor Township Police Chief Jim Thomas had stated that they had spoken to Kadin's employer as well as followed up on any information they provided. So at this point, it seems they don't suspect anything odd with the moving company people. But again, this guy is just gone. And to me, it's like any and everyone's a suspect until they're not, or they might have some knowledge at the least. Upcoming court appearance. Kadin had an upcoming court appearance that was scheduled for the end of January of 2023. He had been arrested after a physical altercation with a bus driver in March 2022. Kadin Black was worried that he was going to be sent to jail. His family, though, believed that he would be cleared. So they weren't concerned about it, but Kadin was. He did struggle emotionally at times and had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, oppressional defiant disorder, as well as autism. Family thinks those issues caused him to act out with the bus driver. So I guess that they were going to, use that in court saying, hey, he's got some, issues, with bipolar. He's got some, other disorders. He's got some autism. So they were hoping that they could maybe get him, I guess, probation or something. Either way, the family didn't believe that he was going to have to serve any time in jail for this crime. The community knew Kadin through his participation in high school sports. Chief Thomas was actually Kadin's track coach during high school. He says that everyone got along with him. So Kadin seemed like he was a pretty, well-known guy in high school. He played sports and everyone got along with him. The final ping on Kadin's cell phone now is 2.4 miles from a cell tower on Old Commons Road in the Lower Windsor Township, East Prospect, PA area at 9:28 a.m. on December 18th. Kadin missed his scheduled work shift on December 19th. Now, what we do know about pings are, it could ping off another tower. So it's very important information to know where it pinged, but at the same time, your cell phone could ping off of a tower that's close to you. It could ping off another tower, so that's never a complete, science or whatever. I don't know all the details, of that because I'm not an expert, but I do know that just because a tower may be further away than another tower picks up doesn't mean you're closer to that tower. There's all sorts of stuff related to that. Initial searches included ground and air searches as well as use of drones. Officials searched the area where Kadin was living, his family home, the wooded areas in the community, and dogs trained in electronic sniffing searched the Faust home and came up with nothing. So I find that very strange. So none of these searches found anything. And then you've got dogs that came up empty. So, it's just again, that he vanished in thin air. And nobody does that. I mean, you don't just disappear, unless you're abducted by aliens. And, yeah. Lower Windsor Township Police Chief Jim Thomas said there is a possibility of foul play. And I completely think that there's something foul afoot here. During the course of the investigation and looking into things, we feel there is a possibility of foul play, according to the chief. Kadin Black has dark brown hair and brown eyes. He is 5'10" with an athletic build. He weighs around 180 pounds. It isn't known what he was last wearing, but his mother states he normally wore dark clothing and white sneakers. He likely only had the clothes on his back and his wallet. While Kadin's cell phone data was obtained through a search warrant, his cell phone has yet to turn up. Kara, his mom, believes that her son's phone may hold the key to locating Kadin. And I think that she's right. I think that cell phone, if they find that cell phone, there's going to be some good information on it. And I think also there's some people that know stuff and they're just not talking. Months after Kadin's disappearance, Chris Faust, now he's the father of the family he was living with, blocked the family on Facebook. Now, if that doesn't give you a red flag and bells going off everywhere, I don't know. He then sold Kadin's vehicle, a Toyota 4Runner, which was titled under Faust's name for insurance purposes. Kadin's father, Maurice, commented on this. If you believe he's missing, why would you sell it? To me, this entire blocking the family on Facebook and selling Kadin's car, it just immediately, it just flew up, all these flags and, danger, something's wrong here. Because if your friend's best friend or friend, and especially if he's living with you, he became sort of like family, and you're going to block his actual family, not communicate with them, and sell his car? That's not normal. That's just weird to me. And I do have a screenshots of the listing I'll post momentarily. Again, to me, it's very, very suspicious. Kara Patterson continues to do press conferences and holds vigils for her son. She hasn't given up and tries to keep the community looking for Kadin. Maurice, who has his kids tattooed on his arm, also remains strong. I've never had the feeling that he was dead or anything, but I don't know. Just certain things are not adding up in my brain right now, but I haven't given up hope yet. And again, anyone with information on Kadin Black should contact the Lower Windsor Township Police Department in Pennsylvania, 717-244-8055. And again, I will put that in the information of the video as well as it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. But again, this is so, especially the whole car situation, the family kind of just this family, that extended family basically, that he was living with for months, just acting like, yeah, he's gone. And, let's block his real family on Facebook and sell his car. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. I just am very, very, until that point, I wasn't as suspicious of anything to do with the Faust family from what I read so far. But once I read about the car and the blocking on social media, that just was something else for sure. So this is the listing that Chris Faust put up to sell Kadin's vehicle. As you can see, it was sold. It was sold for $8,500. This is Kadin's 2002 Toyota 4Runner. He puts in the description, top engine rebuilt with 400 miles on it. A local service center helped with the rebuild. Cylinder heads machined and pressure tested. New engine gaskets, engine belts, timing belt, alternator rear brakes, rear axles and bearings, suspension and springs. Many other parts replaced. Rocker panels rebuilt by a body shop. All EGR, VSV vents and evap emission system replaced and tested by Toyota. Frame is in excellent condition and coated with POR 15. Over 10K spent. All receipts were kept as proof of work done. Interior is very clean. New WeatherTech floor mats, window visors, and tires not that old with great depth in the tread. Vehicles being sold because we have 5 vehicles and we have 3 Toyota 4Runners. Odometer is at 234, 426 miles with only 400 miles on the new engine rebuild. This vehicle should not have any problems passing Pennsylvania state inspection for many years to come with all the work put into it. Not a mention of, this is someone else's car. The only thing I can rationalize is he thinks maybe he put a lot of money into it for Kadin, and he thinks that he's got the right to sell it. But to me, it's still super... It's super suspicious, and I think it's wrong. But I don't know about you guys, but I just find it very, very... It's very suspicious that he sold, this missing kid's car. I mean, it's... If you're still missing, and hopefully you're going to come back, what if you want your car back? And then someone's like, oh, we thought you were really gone, so we sold your car. I mean, what the hell, dude? I mean, seriously. It's obviously in the grand scheme of things, this is nothing, but to me, it just definitely puts it puts eyeballs and more attention on Chris Faust, in my book. That's for sure. All right, and I'm going to go through more of the Facebook stuff. Again, I'm sifting through so much. I'm screenshotting as much as I can, and I'm going through the Find Kadin Black Facebook group. I will also share that link in the description of the video. Again, I'm trying to really dig further into this, so this is like a lot of basic information, just digging into the basics of the case. But this is a lot more than it was known initially. Because initially, and the initial stuff that I read, law enforcement did not suspect foul play. It's been probably more recent, in the last year or so, that they've started to put that out as a possibility. Of course, I immediately, put that out there as an option when someone just disappears and there's just no other sign of, anything odd. But I'm also not a detective. So here is the presser. This was about a year ago that the police department put out.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through our timeline of what's happened so far and what we're looking for from the media. So on December 20th of this year at 8:30, Lower Windsor Township police officers were dispatched for information regarding Kadin Black, a 19-year-old male from the Lower Windsor Township, East Prospect area. He had left the residence of Vicky Lee Drive, and he had been staying there for several months. Black left unexpectedly without any notice, and at this time, there was no indications of foul play. But we are now considering him missing, and we are doing this as an inquiry for his well-being. It was reported that he was last seen on the 17th. Items missing were his shoes, cell phone, and wallet. That he also had deleted some social media platforms, and we're unsure if that had anything to do with his becoming missing. That evening, he was put into NCIC, which is our crime information system for other departments that would run him or check for his status. We also pinged his cell phone. The last activity was at that we did the phone was at 12 hours, and it showed that he was 2.4 miles away from the cell tower on Old Commons Road. That would be centrally located within the township. The next morning, the next day on the 21st, I spoke with Ms. Patterson and updated her on the situation of the investigation. I asked her that if she would like to contact the media, we would support that. I would like to reiterate that he is a 19-year-old male. I then did confirm with several social media and media outlets that we are actively looking for him for his welfare. Officers from this department had spoke to several friends, including me. I did a patrol of the East Prospect, Lower Windsor area, talked to several of the townspeople, as well as friends, people that I knew he was associated with, and no one knew of anything involving his missing, disappearance, or what his status was. Officers also checked by vehicle and foot some of the wooded areas around East Prospect Borough. The department had reposted the family's missing person flyer on our Facebook and social media pages. I then contacted Scott James, Chief County Detective with the District Attorney's Office. We've been in constant contact since then, and I would like to stress that we've been working with both DA Sunday and Scott James closely since the 21st with that initial contact. On the 22nd, our officers went on Google Maps. We did a search of the ping area, any areas that we knew we had any interaction with Kadin, and also ATV areas. We know that he was involved with ATV sports. We went through some of the residents. There was an area that they used to live on East Prospect Road. We went to that residence. We searched the outbuildings, the property, and the family allowed us to check the cursory home area. Nothing was found there. We also checked with Mr. Black's employer, gathered information from coworkers, his work information, when he was last seen, when he was last paid. Then we spoke to the person who he had dinner with on the evening of the 16th, who was a work friend relationship. He left that home around 11 o'clock. The person who was working with Black advised that they were planning on seeing each other on Monday the 19th, which was his next day of work. We also then contacted the Faust. We offered police assistance in checking the area. They allowed us to check the area, or they advised that they checked the area west of the property, which is a little wooded area, and they felt that they had checked that area fairly well. We checked the home, his room. We checked the vehicles that Kadin had access to. Once again, we didn't find anything out of the ordinary. We then talked to Ms. Patterson. She received some hostile spam messages from the flyer. We looked into some of those leads, and there was nothing with that. We talked to a friend, a female friend who was living up in Cool Creek Manor Apartments. Nothing developed from that lead. On the 23rd, we received information that someone saw Kadin walking in the area of the Rudders in Windsor at the Cape Horn Road location. Officers responded there, checked video footage, and advised that that was not Kadin that was on that footage. On the 27th, without any new leads and the amount of time that passed, I contacted Mr. Faust, and we advised that since we hadn't heard from, they have not heard from Kadin, both Ms. Patterson and the Faust, that I contacted Chief Prosecutor Taylor Catherman, Chief James. We prepared a search warrant for the banking records. We received that back, and we are currently following up on several of the transactions going to the businesses and stuff like that to check any video footage and anything that would lead us to any information. Officers from the police department received information that he might have been with a family friend, or I'm sorry, walking in the area of East Philly. Police went to that area, did not find anything. We checked the home of the friend that he was supposed to have been with that night at the last dinner, and there was nothing there. Officer Lake conducted a foot patrol in the area of the treatment plant in East Prospect Road in the fields. Nothing was found that day either. On the 29th, officers spoke with the Faust again. We did a search of Kadin's room. They let us look around. We spoke to them and interviewed them again. I spoke to Ms. Patterson. She was expressing interest in doing a search, a large-scale civilian search. Now, I would like to make it clear that we would love to have the community's help, but a large search of this area is monumental, a large undertaking, and should be done by trained people with the permission of the property owners for both the searcher's safety, the homeowner's safety, and to protect the scene for any potential evidence that if something would to happen. So just to keep that in mind. I also applied for a search warrant for his cell phone records. That includes text messages, calls, cell tower locations, and because that is quite a task, we have not received all that information yet, but we are hoping to get that very, very soon. I spoke to the Center of Missing and Exploited Children regarding the release of the poster. What we also did is we put it on the State Police PASIC police information site that goes to all the police departments to be on the lookout for Kadin for his welfare. On the 30th, officers followed up with several credit card purchases and forwarded all the banking records to the district attorney's office. And once again, with a collaborative effort, we've been reviewing that and we're following up on some information. We continue to look into various leads, including credit cards, although no transactions have happened since the report of his disappearance. We are also, with Chief James, we are conducting several interviews, including family members, the Fausts. I believe they spoke to Ms. Patterson, and we're continuing the joint effort with the district attorney's office. On the 2nd, I want to advise that we, with the South Central Search and Rescue Team and the East Prospect Fire Company, did a search of the general area of Vicky Lee Drive, East Prospect. That was done by foot and by drone. We did get some permission from some homeowners to check some areas that the drones could not adhere, but nothing was found. I then did contact Crimestoppers, and there is on the back table the flyers from Crimestoppers that they do offer reward for some information that would come in, but that's on their website, and the flyer is in the back with Mr. Black's information. On the 3rd, the police department forwarded information again about West Philadelphia Street, that someone had seen Kadin walking along the street. We had 2 officers and a photo sent to the York City Police. Within a half an hour, they checked the area and the perimeter, and nothing was found. So in closing, I just want to basically say that today we're asking for the public's assistance in this matter. We believe that someone may have some information or seen Kadin since the 7th of December. If you may know where he is presently or you have any information, you should contact the Lower Windsor Police Department at 717-244-8055, or you can call York County 911. If Kadin happens to see this message or hear of it, please call us or your mom. We are actively looking for you. And the last thing I'd like to say that at this point, this is not a criminal incident. He's a 19-year-old man, but we are very concerned for his welfare and his well-being. He's not in any trouble with the police. Matter of fact, we've always had a very nice relationship with Kadin. We would like to find him and put the family's mind at ease and to check to see how he's doing.
And I wanted to put this one on here. This is his mom begging for information. And this broke my heart. It's going to break your heart.
Someone to come forward and just let me know something. Because I know somebody knows where my son is or what happened to my son. Somebody has to know something. And Kadin, if you're just out there, call me. Just let me know you're okay. If you need help, or you want me to come and get you, just call me. If you're afraid to call my phone, call me at work. That's it. Just Kadin, if you see this, you are so loved. You are so loved by so many people. So many people are missing you. So many people are worried about you. If anybody knows anything, please just let me know that my son is okay. I just need to know that my son is okay.
Hearing Kara talk really breaks my heart. That is a mama just wanting her son back, or at least wanting to know that he's okay. He's been missing since December of 2022, right before Christmas. And there's no answers for this family. Someone knows something. And I really do hope that they call and give them, give a tip. You can be anonymous. All these tips can be anonymous. I will post the other information lines again in the information of this video. The bottom line is, this family deserves to know what happened and what's going on with their son, with their sibling as well. He's got siblings. And Kadin deserves to, come home. For all we know, he's being held somewhere. Again, I personally don't rule out foul play either. Obviously, the law enforcement is stating that it is possible, but they're not stating that they know that for sure. Something happened to Kadin, and I think it was against his will. I think somebody took him, something was done, whether it was an accident and it was covered up, I don't know. But there's at least one person, and I believe probably more, that know what happened to Kadin the weekend of December 17th and 18th of 2022. And please call in and give your tips, give your information. This family deserves to know. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.